So today we're gonna practice harnessing dogs. And when you harness dogs, you come over to the wall. And since we're using main dog board, you're just gonna grab 2 different colors because it makes it easier to see. You're gonna come inside. So here's where I go inside, and I'm going up to Boomer's kennel. Boomer's a pretty excitable dog, so I take both leashes of 2 different colors, and I like to go ahead and put it over their head first. So I go and get it over her head. She's jumping, so get stuck on her foot, and I pull it off. And then I'm gonna reach down with one color over her leg and pull her foot through up behind the shoulder. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. And she likes to lick, and she's all excited. And so and you always want to make sure when you're doing this that the metal loops are at the top. And then you hold the dog back and come out the door. So when you go to harness a large dog, make sure you have both loops. Grab control of the dog by the collar or the head. Put the loops around the dog. You're gonna take one of your loops and slide it all the way down to the foot. Pull his foot through. Tighten it. Grab the other one. Pull his foot through. When you have harnessed your dog, you're gonna make sure you put this over your wrist and your hand to make sure you have control. And you're gonna grab like this, both loops and the collar, so you have control of the dog at all times. Like this, and grab the collar. And you're gonna open up the kennel with the dog at your side and in control, and yell "dog out" when you come out of the kennel. Here we go again. Once again, I use 2 loops. I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna grab her, put it over her head, then shut the door behind me. Again, I'm gonna take each lead and put her leg through it. So I reach down, pull her leg through it. That's the fastest way. Here I go again. She's really excited. And here she does that. And then I always make sure the loops are the top, and that's it. And when you take it off, you're just gonna slide their feet out or slide it over their head and just pull it off. Like so. So now we're gonna go to quarantine, which is on the right of the blue door if you're going out. Come in here. And for quarantine dogs, we have special leashes. You grab 2 of the quarantine leashes. These aren't put together, so we're gonna go ahead and put them together. So when you're putting together the 2 leashes, you're just gonna take the fat end and stick it through the hole, or the little metal loop, and that's how you make a leash. Once again, I approach the dog and I loop his head first so I get control. Once I have control of the dog, I shut the door behind me. And here we're gonna go in slow-mo again with another person helping me. She's gonna help lift the legs, and she's gonna pull his leg through or help me stand him up. And here again, she helps me, and she helps me put the leg through. And that's it. That's how you harness a dog. Good boy. I'm gonna finish up the video with one last walkthrough of what to do and what not to do. So I have the do's and don'ts of harnessing dogs. Always make sure you close the kennel door behind you if you have a crazy dog or you don't have control of the dog. If you're not a person who puts the leash on first to get control, make sure you step all the way in the kennel and shut it behind you. Always have your 2 leashes ready, because if you don't have them ready, it just makes it chaotic and you're trying to grab your leashes and everyone's rushing you and you can't get it done in a timely fashion. Always accept help from your cleaners, because if a cleaner helps to be like, hey, I'm gonna harness this dog for you, always be like, okay, you can harness my dog. It makes things go smoother and faster. Make sure your leads are free and untangled. So when they cross, always make sure they cross in the front and the chest, and that your metal loops are at the top by the shoulders. Always grab your dog by the base when you come in and out of dog ward. We talk about that all the time because dogs can get into fights. Always have control of your dog for the same reason. We don't want a loose dog running through anywhere. We always want to make sure we have the dog by our side and in control at all times. And again, watch your step, because going in and out of dog board, as you can see, we dump all the bowls and we run in and out of there, and the floor gets wet and people have fallen and gotten hurt. So now we're gonna go over the don'ts. The main thing is, do not use one lead if you're going outside, because if you have one lead, you're not gonna have control of the dog, or that extra safety measure if the dog was to get away from you. Always make sure you put the lead together correctly. That's why I have this right here. We have seen people in the past take this small end and put it through the loop. That doesn't make sense. You can't control your dog. You don't have anything to grab onto. So you're gonna make sure you take this end, squeeze the handle, put it through, and put this around their neck. Don't have the same color leashes, because you can get confused when you go to cross them and you're not sure which leg you put through and which lead you used, and then you wind up with a dog that's incorrectly harnessed and can get away from you. Don't rush too much. If you rush too much, you're gonna get the dog excited. It's gonna be more difficult for you to harness. You're gonna get overwhelmed, and then the dog will probably end up being harnessed incorrectly, and you're gonna be reprimanded for that. Don't harness the dog before you sign out. Always make sure you line up in your order as a walker to sign out numerically and correctly. Make sure everything's filled out before you even go and decide to harness another dog. Don't drag the dog. Some dogs we get in here don't like the harnesses. They don't want to walk or run outside, so you need to pick them up regardless of size. If they are too heavy to pick them up, then you have to figure out a way to make them walk. And then with our heartworm dogs, we don't want to rush, because our heartworm dogs have just been injected with Imidacide. They don't feel good, they're painful, so we make sure we carry them in and out. We harness them very slowly, we make sure we don't cause them any pain, and then when you're outside with the dogs, you can only be out there for up to 5 minutes. So once your 5 minutes is up and they haven't pooped or peed, you're gonna bring them back inside anyways. So that's it for the do's and don'ts of harnessing.